Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. In this episode, we're going to take it to a different place, if you will. I want to try to run things a little bit more narratively with some of these groups, and I have a hero and a hobbit, as it would be. So this part of the mapper is a sub part of the thing. I'm not sure what we're going to call this. Maybe it'll be its own playlist. Who knows? We're calling it the hero and the hobbit. Here I'm going to take this 4th level character. Now, I know that if you've been following this, you see that when we send these 1st level characters out to raid these high level dungeons, we have a high lethality rate. Well, this is a 4th level character and a 1st level character, and we're going to send them into a relatively low level dungeon and see what a single character at 4th level can do in this system. Okay, so we're going to do something different with this part of the series. The hero and the halfling, as it would be. Because I want to try something a little more narrative, I've been messing around a little bit, not recording and putting out there, but just using different oracles and trying to play in a little bit more narrative way. So when I came into this, I could approach it a little differently. So we're going to try a bunch of stuff out as we go through this. Some of it we'll keep, some we won't. We'll go from there. And I wasn't sure what exactly I wanted to do. I had lots of generators to create missions for the hero. But then somebody had commented on an old video and they were asking me about this particular adventure, where I got it from, and it made me look at it again. And I thought, you know what? This might be a good adventure to run. Now, this is an adventure for 4 to 7 1st level characters. And my group is a hero, which is a 4th level character, and the halfling, as it would be, is a 1st level character currently. Now, you might think, and I thought, this is probably perfect, like if not hard for that, right? Because when you're looking at a total of 7 levels, up, between 4 and 7 levels. Here I have 5 levels plus, action economy and all that. But in my game, Unchained, fighters don't really suffer from that action economy issue, right? The hero really is the equivalent of 4 people. So this is balanced on some level, but they're more than 4 people when it comes to defense. Because they need simultaneous hits to take them down, they're much more than what you might seem. So looking at, I didn't want to read the whole module because I didn't want to give it away to myself because I want to play through it. But we're going to use a lot of randomization to decide what to do anyways. But I did look at some of the monsters in here and I realized that this would almost be a cakewalk for this hero by themselves. They'd be almost, it would be hard for them not to be able to just walk through this thing. So what we're going to do, at first I thought, well, I could double the power, triple the power of monsters, do different things, but I thought, instead of doing that, let's let the dice speak for us. So what we're going to do is every time the hero and the halfling interact with a monster, if there's going to be an encounter, I'm going to roll a d4, and we're going to multiply the number of monsters. I'm going to do it that way versus the hit dice, because I'm not exactly sure how multiplying the hit dice would change things. I'm going to multiply the number of monsters by that. So some of them will be a cakewalk, some will be maybe borderline deadly or over the top deadly. We might have to retreat. I think that will balance it out for us. Because effectively at some points we're going to be at one where they're going to be against potentially 16 levels worth of bad guys, equivalent of what they would have before. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. We'll play through it. I haven't tried it, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to run this module. We'll talk about that in a second, but let me just talk about a few other things we're going to do here. So again, I mentioned we have the hero, which was a mapper who got to higher levels, and she's now become a hero. And the halfling, which was a surviving character from the Foxes originally, but they haven't quite reached 2nd level yet, although they are close. And they're just a character who has been very lucky and very good and survived. You notice here there's one more character. For this particular adventure, in order to make it make sense to me in this, this timeline, this story, this whatever, this character I'll talk about in a second. They're actually an NPC. And what I'm going to try to do for my own, organization is NPCs, like good NPCs, if you will, like NPCs that are neutral or possibly on the side of the PCs, I'm going to put on a green index card. And if we have rival kind of NPCs, ongoing monsters, we'll put them on red index cards so I can keep track of it a little better. Our hero and our halfling will be on the yellow. I'm going to use a couple of different things in here we haven't really used yet in this series. One is something that, and well, obviously you can get it in the playtest, but I will point a link directly to this. This is my adventuring skills, or thief skills, if you will, because in OD&D, with just 3 little brown books, there's no thieves. I'm not going to run through this now. I've done, I think, a podcast, possibly a video on it. As we encounter things, we need to do thief things. You'll see how this works. But the characters have purchased equipment, which is the elevator pitch for it. The equipment replaces the thief skills. I'm going to use also a series of oracles. I'll probably still use some of the Matt Jackson oracle, which we've used in the past. I'll use the Rolling the Bones oracle from Tales of Arcosa, if you saw how I did the overview of that system. This card deck right here is also from Tales of Arcosa. I may not use this so much in this particular adventure, because this one's more about like setting scenes and flavor, like you pull a card and you pull flavor from it. But I haven't actually used, but I want to use, this is the GM Apprentice deck. I'll put links to all these things that have links. This can pull a lot of things, but one thing I'm going to mostly use it for is there's a direction tab. So whenever we go into a room and there's a potential for us to go through a certain door or whatever, I'm going to use this oracle to decide which direction we go. There's also sounds and there's a yes, no thing, but I think I'll probably use the dice mostly for that. So we'll play around, we'll see what we like, what we don't like, etc. I probably won't use a lot of miniatures, but if I need them for strategy, I will. These are the miniatures that this is the hero, that's our magic user in the middle, and that's our halfling. And we're just going to kind of go for it. We'll play through this a little bit more narratively. That is to say that I'm going to, I'm not going to do voices of the characters, but I'll really, because it's a smaller group, we're going to really think about what's going on here and do it a little bit less board gamey. We're just going to kick down doors and kill everything. We have a mission and we're going to try to complete it because that's what we do around here. First, let's start with some background. About 15 years ago, Carthadon the wizard arrived at the seaport of Borth. He claimed that Borth was located at an ideal site to carry out magical research and announced his intention to establish a laboratory in the town. The local guildmasters, while deeply honored that Carthadon had chosen their town, were not keen to see such dangerous place built where they lived. After much negotiation, Carthadon and the guildmasters arranged a compromise. Carthadon would be allowed to carry out his researches locally in the tower which the guild would build at Enon Tor. In return, he would operate a navigation beacon at the tower and be on call to help the town should he be needed. The tower was built, Carthadon moved in, and the arrangement worked well. Fewer ships were lost in the dangerous shoals, and the town prospered. 1 week ago, however, the whole of Enon Tor was surrounded by a strange shimmering light, and that evening, the beacon was not lit. The fog horn in the tower, which had started to sound when the fog descended that morning, continued to blow for the next 2 days, then was suddenly silenced and is not heard since. Trading activity has been light recently, but the guildmasters are anxious to find out what has gone wrong before any ships run aground. As a result, they have approached your party, in our case the heroes, and offered you 100 gold pieces each to go to Enon Tor and find out why the beacon is no longer working. Okay, so what I'm changing here to work for me is this all happened, but at the same time, this young mage, this elf, it has come to apprentice under Carthadon. Yeah, Carthadon. She is the one who, the town is nervous. They don't know what happened. They want to send some people to check it out. So of course they're trying to recruit somebody. But the main reason why my hero is going to go is because she's going to bring this magic user there. The idea of doing it for money is cool, and we will do that. I'll probably, because it's supposed to be 4 to 7 characters, we'll probably make it, instead of 100 gold pieces each, we'll just make it a flat 700 gold pieces as a payment to bring her there safely and find out what happened. Normally in these kind of adventures, you get the idea of like, and if you find any treasure along the way, you can keep it. But obviously we're going into a tower that she's going to apprentice in. This is why I'm adding this. So we're not going to rob the tower when we go in there because that would be a little bit weird. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go in and we're going to investigate. We're going to find out what's up with this wizard. We will get 700 gold pieces in reward, and I'll probably figure out a different way to do experience points. Maybe I'll look at the treasure we could have stolen and give experience points for it, but I think story-wise, I don't want to be stealing treasure. Okay, let's begin. The beacon is on a wooded headland about 2 miles west of Borth. It stands above a 100-foot-high cliff that overlooks dangerous shoal waters. One of the townsmen will take the party to the track that leads to the beacon and tell them which direction to head. The adventure begins as the party leaves the woods which surround Enon Tor on the landward side. At this point, the DM should read out the following. Obviously, I'm not going to read this whole module as we go, but just to get you a feeling of how this operates. So here's our box text. This might be the last box text you hear. After walking along the track for a little over 2 miles, you are just leaving the cover of the woods. The track continues, leading in the direction of a stone-built tower that has now come into view. You can see that the building is more than just a tower, because there is some sort of stone construction built into the rock below. For the first time since leaving Borth, you can smell the sea. There are 2 entrances in plain view. One on the tower itself, the other in a stone building. As far as you can see, there is no one about. Okay, so if we look at this, we've got 2 entrances, and it seemed a little confusing to me just looking at the map, but we do have an illustration, which is very helpful here. I'm not sure how clear that is, but we can actually see that there's an area here. That's our stone building. And then it looks like there's a tower entrance up there that if we went like along, we could enter up there. Okay, so this is our first decision. Do we want to enter the tower itself or the building, right? We don't really know. We don't have any information right now. This is all we can see. Which one are we going to go up to? All right, so we're going to use an oracle to decide which entrance we want to take. We've got 2 options, right? So we're going to say it's even odds that we could take either one, and we just want to decide which one. We could use any of these oracles, but let's use the card deck for a second. Do we want to enter through the stone building? And then, of course, if it's no, then we'll enter through the tower. So let's flip this over. So if we look at even odds, we see that no. So we're going to enter through the tower. Okay. The entrance doors into the beacon are wooden and iron reinforced. Both the doors are locked. The keys to the locks are on the inside. It says the locks can be picked by thieves, and they can easily be opened once unlocked. Okay, perfect. So I don't have thieves in my game, right? If I was playing with a group of player characters, I'm quite sure, because I know I would do this, I would try to look through the keyhole and I'd see it was blocked and think, hold on, is the key there? And then, of course, you would take a piece of parchment, slide it under the door, push a little stick through, the key would fall into the parchment, you pull the key out, classic trick. However, I'm playing solo, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use my thief skills. So I have what's called skeleton keys, and there's 2 different ways I've suggested to use them. We're going to use the 2 and 6 method. And what it basically means is when you buy one of these kind of random skeleton keys, that key has a 2 and 6 chance of opening the door. Okay? As it turns out, because we had money, the halfling bought 2 keys and our hero bought 4. So I'm going to roll 2 dice for the halfling to see if either one of their keys opens this door. So if I get a 1 or a 2 on either one of these dice, it does. Yeah. One of their skeleton keys slides in, click, unlocks it. And before we open the door, though, we feel that it's going to work, we're going to listen. Up to 3 characters can listen at a door. Humans have a 1 in 6 chance. Demi-humans have a 2 in 6. So I'm going to roll a white die for the hero and black for the halfling and the elf. If I get a 1 on the white die, they hear something. A 1 or a 2 on the black, they hear something. Assuming there's something to be heard. All right, we don't hear anything. So with that, we will just open the door. And that opens us into room number 6. This room contains 9 large barrels. Scattered about the room are 2 coils of rope, a hammer, 2 dozen torches, a lantern, a saw, an axe, a dozen iron spikes, several pieces of timber, 4 pulley blocks, a bucket full of nails, a bucket full of black substance, probably tar, 3 hooks, 10 empty sacks, a length of sailcloth, and a set of blacksmith's bellows, and a broken cartwheel. Against the eastern wall is a pile of sticks. Okay, so it says, if I check, which we will, we'll spend a turn in here looking around. All right, so I'm going to say opening the door and investigating the room is 1 full turn. We'll get all that information I just read. In addition to all but one of the barrels contains oil. The last one is empty. The black substance is tar. I was right about that. And it says none of these items are valuable. We weren't going to steal anything anyways. Okay, so we are now in this room. There's no monsters in here. There's no weirdness going on. It's just basically a storage room. What we can see here is there's basically just one doorway. So there's nothing to choose here. We're going to want to go through the door. So I'll take the time to listen at this door. It doesn't say that the inside doors are locked, so we'll assume they're not. We're going to listen at the door, so it's not going to take a full turn to do this. So let me flip this down. By the way, there are no wandering monsters in this adventure, so we're not going to do that. We're going to listen at the door, same as before. White is our hero. Okay, if there's something in this stairwell area, they will hear it. So this basically brings you to a platform. There's a set of stairs going down. It looks like it goes down to the lower building. And then a short set of stairs, then it turns a corner, then another short set of stairs. I'm going to say, unless something was ridiculously loud, they're not going to hear it. So I'm not going to worry about being able to hear anything. Like, I'm not going to look in the rooms to see what's there. I'm just going to say they don't hear anything. Now, do we go down the stairs or up? I'm going to draw one of these cards, and we're going to look at the direction of it, and we'll see. We'll see if that helps us. This may or may not work. Okay, it's going this way. So I'm going to call that to the right, so that's up. All right, so we're going to go up the stairs. In this game, OD&D as it would be, if you haven't watched these before, nobody can see in the dark. So we're going to take out a lantern. The magic user in the middle is going to hold the lantern between us. Our hero is going, she uses a two-handed sword, by the way. So she's got it kind of in front of her, kind of half shafted, so she can use it in a small space, almost like a spear, right? And the halfling is actually going to have their crossbow out, just in case they need to shoot something. And in fact, no, the halfling is going to put lean the crossbow against the wall. And they are going to actually sneak up ahead and see what's on the next floor. So the way sneaking works in this, I mean, obviously there's still surprise rolls, but you kind of move silent, if you will, that thieves do, is we roll 2d6, and what we're looking for is a 12 or better. But things add to it. Being barefoot is +4. So I'm going to roll 2d6 +4. If I get 12 or better, they're absolutely silent, and they will surprise anything if it's up here. Otherwise, we'll use normal surprise rules. Okay, that's 9 + 4 is 13. So they are absolutely silent as they move up these stairs into room 7. Now it is dark, but they just got their hand against the wall, and they're just kind of like listening as they kind of creep up. This is now room 7. So it says, when I read this room, it says, as you enter the room, you see two creatures detach themselves from the ceiling and flutter towards you. As the air fills with high-pitched squeaks, you notice that an outside door in the south wall stands ajar. Now, because I moved absolutely quiet, I'm going to say that we did not scare the bats, so they're still there. And because the door is open, one of these doors is open, that there's enough light in here that I could actually see the bats. So the halfling sees two giant bats. Okay, not wanting to mess with them to stealth, they move back down, and they quietly say to the hero and the elf that there are giant bats up here. Now, here's the thing. Nobody else is going to be able to move as quietly as that halfling did, really. So while we might be able to get a surprise on them, unlikely, I'm going to say that just to be safe, we're going to form ourselves up into a fighting line. There's not a whole lot of space up there, so the halfling's going to take their sword out. Actually, they'll take their spear out, and they'll stand behind the hero, who, again, has a two-handed sword. She's going to come into the room swinging. The magic user is going to go in the rear. So we're going to switch up our marching order. This halfling halfling's got a lot of weapons with them. I probably have to change that. All right. We'll say the magic user was carrying the spear for them, because that's a little bit silly. They carry a spear and I didn't realize I gave him a spear and a crossbow. All right, so but we'll say they have a spear. Why not, right? We're not worrying about it. So they're going to pull their spear out, and we're going to move up in that order, okay? So we'll enter the space. I'll roll normally for surprise. Only the bats can be surprised because, of course, the player characters know they're there. By the way, that was another turn. I don't really need to track turns except for them to rest because, again, they're not, well, I guess torches, but they're not going to run out of torches. That's not really an issue. All right, 4. The bats are not surprised. So the hero enters the room with the two-handed sword. Nobody's surprised. It seems to me the bats are attacking based on what this thing says. It doesn't say they fly out the door, but I think I'll roll a reaction roll because bats, bats might just fly away. So we're going to roll 2d6 and see what these bats do. All right, that's like a neutral reaction. So I'm going to say that they fly down. They don't attack, but they're going to fly around the room and become a nuisance. And of course, because the player characters are a little bit nervous about that, they're just going to attack them. But what I am going to do is I'm going to give a bonus here. to the player characters. If I beat them in initiative, I'm going to allow our attacks to happen first, even though they should be simultaneous. Okay, I didn't. So all attacks are simultaneous. When we get aggressive with the bats, they get aggressive with us. The halfling's going to stay kind of in the back, stabbing up. The hero's going to stay in front of them so that basically they're the only ones that can be targeted. And the magic user, again, is going to stay at the back. So let's figure out this combat. It says the bats are 2 hit dice. It says that they are armor class 6, which armor class 6, if we look at my system, falls into heavy foot. So they're defending as heavy foot, and we'll say they also attack as heavy foot. So they are basically 2 heavy foot each, and there's 2 of them. So heavy foot, both the hero is in plate mail, so she's armored foot. Heavy foot versus armored foot, 1 die per 2 men, 6 hits, okay? So, oh, I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do. I'm going to roll a d4 here to see if there's more bats than we expected. Oh, yes, there are 8 bats in here. Alrighty then, because 4 times as many. Okay, so we have 8 bats in here. They are, effectively, they get 1 die each. Right? It's, no, they get 1 die each because they're each 2 men. So there's 8 bats in here. They're going to get to attack. Now, 6s are hits, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8. All combat simultaneous. So if they somehow take the hero out, she'll still get to attack them. Not a single 6. Okay. These bats come down like crazy. The hero's swinging their sword, and no bats hurt the hero. Now, the hero is using a 2-handed sword, which is armored foot. Armored foot versus heavy foot, 1 die per 5 and 6 hits. Okay? Hero fights as 4. So we're going to roll 4 dice. We'll use all white ones for the hero. 4 dice, any 5s and 6s will be hits against the bats. 1. All right, that's 1 hit. The halfling is also fighting. They're heavy foot. Heavy foot versus, because the spear is heavy foot. Heavy foot versus heavy foot is 1 die per with a 6 hitting. So they'll get to roll 1 die. They have +1. So they're going to roll, and if they get a 5 or a 6, they hit as well. They do. That's 2 hits. Because the bats are 2 hit dice, and because this is abstracted, we'll say that kills 1 of the bats. And there are 8 bats total, right? So let's do it this way. All right, so 1 bat is cut down with the combination of the sword and the spear. And then we go down into the next round of combat. Again, 1 bat's cut down, which means that I'm just going to take 1 die. We'll take away 1 die. So now the bats are rolling 7 dice. Again, the hero is the only person that can be attacked because they're in the front. 2 hits. But because the hero is 4 hit dice and requires 4 simultaneous hits to kill them, nothing happens. The hero gets 4 dice. Halfling gets 1 die +1. 1 5 hits. So that's just 1 hit against a bat. So that's like a half hit. And we go back to the bats again. Bats attack again. Bats land 2 hits, which do not hurt anybody. Hero hits once. Halfling hits once. So that takes out another full bat. So now there's only 6 bats attacking. They get no hits. This is the good guys again. They miss. Bats get 1 hit, which again is nothing. Good guys kill 1 more. We'll hit 1 more, which kills 1 more. That's 3 out of 8. That's a third. We're going to make a morale check for the bats. The bats need to beat an 8 to stay. They do. So the bats are attacking still. There are now only 5 of them. No hits. Hero and the halfling. Hit. Bats. No hits. Hero and the halfling. 1, 2 hits. No hits. That takes out another full bat. So now we're down to 4. Okay? At this point, all 4 of these have to come up 6s to kill the hero. Which, as you know, is pretty unlikely. So they attack again. The group attacks. Okay, they score 1 more hit. I mean, there's only 3 bats left at this point. They actually cannot kill the hero, so we count that as a finished combat, and the hero has 1. Okay. We'll count that as a full turn, and let's look at what else is happening in this room. You see, even at 4 times the strength, how powerful the hero is. So we'll see. Of course, those are bats, and bats aren't very tough. We'll see what happens as we move on. The garret contains equipment and stores used at short notice to operate the beacon. It then goes through to list all the stores that are in here and says that it's damp because the door has been open for about a week. So basically, this door has been open, you know, ever since whatever that flashing thing happened. And again, the door is open. So what we're going to do is we're going to, again, the halfling, who is the sneakiest of all of us, we're going to come into the room. The halfling is going to, there's only one way out of here, right? There's only this door. They're just going to walk up to the door as quietly as possible, which was not a move silent. So let me see if there's anything there that might hear them. That's 8 walkway. Okay, there's nothing on the walkway. So they go up there, they listen at the door. They don't hear anything because there's nothing to be heard. And they're going to come out onto the walkway. So that's it. We'll call that another turn. So, oh, I think I moved them over to this thing, but that's actually not the door. This is the door. So we walk over and we see there's a ladder right there. So we've got a ladder. It's daytime, obviously. I probably should have said that. Again, the halfling's going to sneak up. They're the quietest of all of them. They're going to put down their heavy gear and sneak over there. Nope, even with that roll, they're not going to make that. Okay. So they don't do it quietly. So they come up to the top. And up top, we have 9. So if there's something up there, then there's a chance it might see the halfling as it's climbing up the ladder. Yeah, there is. This is the top of the tower. A 3-foot-high crenellated wall surrounds this story. In the center of the floor stands a 15-foot-high iron tripod supporting a large iron basket. In the basket and around the tripod are large quantities of ash. Stacked in the northwest corner are 6 bundles of sticks. In the southeast corner is an iron construction, which is obviously some type of lifting equipment. In the northwest corner, a human figure can be seen working a set of blacksmith bellows apparently connected to a foghorn. No sound other than that of rushing air is emerging. Okay, so we see a figure there. We may surprise it, so let's roll surprise first to see if it sees us. Because again, just because you fail to move silent doesn't mean it automatically sees you. So we're going to roll for surprise. Okay, the party's actually surprised. So if this thing is aggressive, so let's see. The figure is a zombie. The zombie's last orders were to sound the foghorn. The zombie will not attack unless the party attempt to stop it carrying out its orders. Okay. All right, so basically maybe the halfling says, oh, it's all clear, and then walks up here, and then suddenly he's like, oh, there's a zombie here. But the zombie is just pumping the bellows. So let's do this. We see a zombie. It's pumping bellows. Do we attack it? I mean, I don't think that this party would just automatically attack something. We don't have a cleric. And it seems to be working the bellows. There's probably a good chance that she knows that this magic user uses zombies to carry out some basic tasks. So let's do that first. Does she know that this magic user used zombies? We're going to use the roll of bones. Okay, I have a no and a yes. No, I have a no and a no. She does not know that. Okay, so because she doesn't know that, I'm going to say there's a better than average chance that they're going to attack this zombie. Because they just see a zombie there and they know something's going on. So again, I'm going to roll this, and the way it works is when you have a better chance is if I get no for my answer, I'll re-roll one of the no dice. Okay, I got a no for an answer, so but I also got a sun, which is a positive effect. And I got yes that time. Okay, so they're going to attack it. And I'm going to say with a positive effect, which I don't even really need to do. Is I should have done this before. I got to roll to see how many zombies are here, but let's just say the positive effect is there's just one zombie, because it doesn't make sense. They're not guards. So honestly, there's no way that the party isn't going to just kill the zombie in one hit. It's standing there not defending itself. So the party walks up and shoo, chops the zombie in half, and it falls to the ground. Now truly dead. Okay. That's interesting. So she doesn't know that the magic user used zombies. We've encountered bats, which could have been natural, of course. Does the party suspect there's some kind of like evil high priest or anti-cleric here or something? I'm going to give even odds of that. Okay. No, they don't. That was a no. So we had yes, no, and this die will always break a tie. No, and something bad. Okay, so they're going to suspect something worse than that. Oh, okay. Do they suspect that this wizard is actually evil? And they're going to kind of take a more aggressive stance. That was actually a... Shoot, I don't know what that was. Let me roll it again. I gotta be careful with this guy. Read it. Okay. There we go. Yes. Okay, but positive. So they'll be able to figure out that he's not by some sign, but not right away. Right now they're thinking, okay, this magic user is evil, and that's not a good thing. So they're going to kind of come into this place like they're now going into kicking down doors mode. All right, well, with all that being said, and again, since there's no wandering monsters, we're just going to go down the stairs until we get to where we originally started, and we're going to sneak, again, the halfling's going to sneak ahead. So halfling sneaks ahead. They're not successful at being quiet. Again, which doesn't mean they're necessarily heard, it just means they won't automatically have surprise. Let's see what room 4 is. This room contains 10 boxes, each about 7 foot long and 2 foot broad and deep. 4 are leaning against the north wall, the rest lie flat upon the ground. One of the boxes against the north wall is open and contains the remains of a man. On the floor of the room lie 2 ugly human-like bodies. Okay. Each of these boxes is a coffin store box of one of Carthodon's zombies. Only 2 of the boxes are occupied by functional zombies who will not attack unless the boxes are open. The occupied boxes are leaning against the north wall. Okay. If a cleric turns these zombies, they will return to the boxes. The human body in the open box was a zombie. The other corpses were orcs. Okay. So let's do a couple things. Number 1, I always do this first. Does he speak orc? If anybody speaks the language of a monster, I assume they know what that monster looks like. Okay, no, nobody speaks orc. Okay, well, actually, don't elves automatically speak orc? I mean, she's not there yet, but when we get down there, she'll know. Yeah, elves automatically speak the language of orcs. Okay, so the halfling goes back up. I mean, there's nothing, the 2 zombies aren't going to attack, it says, so the halfling will go back up, get the rest of the party. The elf will recognize that those are dead orcs. Again, I think that the party would open these boxes. Now, it says there's only 2 zombies here, but again, I'm upping the game here. So, how many of these zombies are actually active? Oh, just 2. Okay, with just 2 zombies, once again, it's just not possible for them to actually hurt the hero, who would be the one that would open the boxes. She's just going to take her 2-hander sword, you know, she's going to rip the boxes open, cut down the zombies as they step out. You know, 2 zombies is, I mean, I can play it out. I guess I should just to show you all if you're new to this. I mean, a zombie is basically, let's see, zombies are Lightfoot, and they're 1-hit die. So again, she has a 2-handed sword. She gets 1 die per man, 4 through 6 hits. So she opens the first zombie box and kills it twice over. She opens the second zombie box and kills it twice over. So that's why I didn't play that out. You can see the power level here. Okay, so she does do that. They rip open the boxes and they slaughter those zombies. But they do see these orcs are here, and that's unusual. So they're now curious. We've got really four ways we could go. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So I'm going to pull a direction card to see where we think we want to go. All right, it's pointed, it's pointed flat, which would be nothing. So we'll do another one. That's like they're actually, okay, it's pointed diagonally this way, which I'm going to judge is this guy. All right. So we're going to listen at that door. So again, we're in this room here. We're going to listen at this door. 3 dice. Again, hero, which does hear something. 2 demi-humans do not. So what is down those stairs? It ends at a door. They wouldn't hear anything. So they listen there. They don't hear anything. Again, they open the door. The halfling leaves the big giant crossbow. We'll have to get them a smaller bow. Goes down the stairs and listens to that door by themselves. They'll go by themselves to start with. So we'll roll to see if the halfling hears anything. They do not. They go back up. Coast is clear. And they're going to come down to room 10 and open the door. So again, just because they didn't move silently doesn't mean that automatically they were heard. It's going to be a normal surprise situation. And we're back to our form. Again, we're going to do the same thing we did before. The hero's going to stand in the doorway with the halfling with the spear and the magic user in the back. Cellar. This is a storage cellar. All around the walls are shelves with wooden boxes on them. In the southwest corner is a trapdoor in the floor. Standing in the rooms are 4 pale, corpse-like men. Okay, these are zombies. So again, we're going to multiply 2. So there's 8 of them. We have 8 zombies in here. Okay, these are, again, 1 hit die apiece. Light foot. Let's see what it says. They will attack anyone who enters the room. All right, so there you go. So we open the door, and these zombies are going to make a move. Now, zombies always go last in BX, which is what this is based on. But I think what we'll do is we'll just roll initiative. Because, again, the party... Well, first we'll roll surprise. Yeah, nobody's surprised. So let's roll initiative and see what happens. I guess it doesn't really matter because we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to stand in the doorway. The hero's going to stand in the doorway because she's the least likely to actually get hurt. And the others are going to stand in the back, the halfling with a spear. So let's just do that. Zombies move forward. There are 8 of them. I'm going to allow them all to attack because zombies will just pile on top of each other. So they actually they attack as, actually, it's funny, I said they were Lightfoot before, but they were Heavyfoot, but it's fine. Again, with 2 zombies, it would not have been a problem. Now they're Heavyfoot, so let's take a look. They're Heavyfoot. A zombie is Heavyfoot, so against Armored Foot, because again, our hero is in plate armor. Heavy versus Armored, 1 die per 2 men. Again, there's 8 zombies, so 4. 6 hits. And going back at them, the hero is Armored Foot attacking Heavy, 1 die per man, 5 or 6 hits. So basically, when the zombies go... Actually, I'll do them all at once. The heroes, 5 or 6 hit. The zombies, only 6s hit. Oh, there wasn't a... 1 zombie goes down. And really, when 1 zombie goes down, I actually take a whole die out because they're... When the first zombie does, anyways. Which actually makes it now impossible. That's 2 more. For them to kill the hero because they have to get 4 6s to kill them. So again, 8 zombies dead. Yeah, so even upping the level 4 times, you see how 1 4th level character is so much more powerful. It's very interesting. We'll finish this adventure and we'll see where it goes, but I may have to tweak these. Maybe I just won't run first level adventures tweaked out, or I'll have to just run stuff based on my own system because I think that the hero is just really powerful and they can just mop through low-level people, which is great. That's kind of the point of the system. If you've been enjoying these actual plays, and I'm guessing you have if you got this far, please do take a moment to like the video, subscribe, do all the good YouTube stuff. Also, check the description below. You'll find a link to my t-shirts if you're interested, and also my Discord and my Patreon if you want to support the channel. I'll talk to you soon.